Ni hao! I'm Noah from Techno Buffalo. To all of our Chinese-speaking friends out there, I hope I didn't mangle that too badly. What is going on, everybody? This video is going to serve two purposes. One, it's a review of this here TV set. Two, it's kicking off my series on connected TV, the future of TV watching. What is TV watching all about? What's it going to be like in the future? Are people even going to call it TV watching anymore? Way back 80 or 90 years ago when I was a kid, we had a TV set in the living room. It had an antenna. Actually, it was kind of a two antenna setup, telescoping. You pulled it out like this. See, like this. I had a lot of practice. And if we had it in the right spot and I moved the antenna the right way, we got, I think, 5 channels. We got the 3 major networks, because back then there was no Fox. We got PBS, and the 5th channel was the local independent channel that showed like wrestling and old cartoons on Saturday mornings, that kind of stuff. Nowadays, a lot of people have cable or satellite in their homes. You can get all kinds of internet TV, Hulu and iTunes content. You can get Vudu and Amazon Video on Demand, all that kind of stuff. You can get Netflix, both streaming and through the mail. You can rent videos, you know, all manner of stuff. You can get mobile TV on your smartphone and your tablet computer and TV in your car, and the list just goes on and on. So what's the deal with TV these days? What are people actually doing? What are some of the ways that you can get all the different options, hardware and software? How can you use your computer or your smartphone or other devices you might already have to get TV content at home and on the go? And, you know, what's the best way to watch whatever it is, whether it's pro wrestling, old cartoons, reruns of Freaks and Geeks, or, you know, whatever it is you want to watch, what's the best way to do it? So we're going to kick things off with a look at this here TV set. It's a Vizio. It's a 22-inch TV. It's got Vizio Internet apps, they call it, which are connected apps that let you do everything from update your Twitter status to watch streaming Netflix on demand through the TV set, through Wi-Fi or Internet. And I'll tell you what, I learned the hard way that being laid up in bed for half of one day and all day the next day with a cold is probably the best way to get a thorough review experience with a connected TV set, because all I did was play with this thing for about 36 hours. So enough out of me, on to the review, let's fire it up. Alright, so like I said, this is a 22-inch model from Vizio. I'll put the model number down in the subtitles. It's an LED set. It's 1080p, although at this size, 22 inches, you know, 1080p, unless you're up close or using it as a computer monitor, you know, the 1080p thing isn't really going to help you all that much. Here I'm firing it up. It's funny to have to boot a TV set up, but, you know, that's the deal with these things these days. Got the sound on right now. I've actually got it hooked up to these external speakers. I'll get to more on that in a second. But it's a 22-inch, 1080p, LED backlit on the edges only. It's part of their Razor series, so it's ultra thin. I'll show you that in a second. This TV I actually purchased. This was not a review loaner, but I actually bought this over the holidays. It was on sale. I picked it up for $200 plus shipping. The same place where I got it now has it for $270, not on sale. Prices seem to be between $250 and $300, although I'm seeing them on eBay for the $200 mark or lower. So there you go. Got here, just show you real quick. Not going to do a full unboxing or anything like that, but here's the remote. It's got your basic remote controls, plus it's got the transport controls for watching the streaming video and stuff. It's got the VIA button for Vizio Internet apps, and then your standard, you know, keypad layout, all that kind of stuff. The TV came with a special panel you have to use if you want to mount the TV to the wall, which is kind of a drag because you can't flush mount the TV, which, you know, you should be able to for a TV this thin. Came with the remote with batteries, came with a couple of cables, and there you go. Highlights of the TV set, obviously the apps we're going to get to in a second. It's got 802.11n Wi-Fi built in. They're calling it HD Wi-Fi, which is pretty funny. It's also got an Ethernet port built in, a couple HDMI inputs, a couple other inputs, and then analog and digital audio out. Now the audio out is actually a big deal because the speakers on this thing are terrible. The sound is just absolutely awful. You can see I actually have the speakers off right now. So I've actually got my cable box hooked up directly to these external speakers, so you're not going to hear the sound. This is ESPN2 obviously coming through the cable box. I'll show you, or I guess listen you, what the sound sounds like using one of the streaming audio apps. But the speakers, just pretty bad. You know, on a set that's this thin and at this price point, you're not going to expect a whole lot. You know, they're certainly passable for just listening to TV, but I think you're really going to want to hook this up to external speakers, home theater systems, something, if you're planning on using it. Okay, so what we're here for, really, you know, kind of in a nutshell, the picture quality is pretty good. The colors are pretty good for on the set. It's only LED backlight or edge backlighting, but again, you know, it's a 22-inch set, so you're not really going to notice it that much. The size of the set is nice. I don't like this standby light. When the TV is off, the standby light, the Vizio logo glows this kind of gold brown color, you know, the whole time while it's off, which I don't really like. And it's sort of odd having a TV set that has to boot up. The boot up time isn't all that long, but the TV's actually crashed twice on me. It's basically a computer, you know, it's basically like a limited functionality, you know, home media center computer built in here. So once the thing just totally crashed and the light was blinking on and off and then it rebooted itself. The other time the remote just wouldn't do anything. So 2 crashes so far. Also 1 firmware update that had to be installed, which added some functionality, and one of the noticeable things was it made the Netflix app much nicer, which is pretty cool. But just kind of funny to have a TV set, you know, that crashes and needs firmware updates and such. And there is kind of a, I know I'm saying a lot, I apologize, I'm aware of that, believe me. Having the software baked into the TV set, very convenient, but you do, you know, run the possibility of, if the software just totally malfunctions, then you can't watch TV till you get it fixed. If you want to add more functionality, if this, you know, TV doesn't support it, then what do you do, that kind of thing. There are answers to all the problems, but something to consider. So we'll take a look at the apps down here on the bottom, and we'll start off with where this thing actually starts off when you load it up. So the HDTV settings, we quickly went through, whoops, guess we hit the wrong button there. Quickly run through here. These are just your settings for the set. You know, assigning your inputs, widescreen mode, closed captioning, all that kind of stuff. One thing to mention on the audio panel, there's a setting for lip sync. In my experience, this hasn't done very much. So we'll leave it at that. I had some issues with lip syncing on Netflix I'll get to in a minute. That did not help. There's actually equalizer settings, which on the one hand is pretty cool, on the other hand, with these speakers, didn't do a darn bit of good. But I guess if you were outputting to, you know, a home theater system or external speakers, could come in handy. I mean, they are. When I ran it through the external speakers, they did help. You know, it was noticeable. And if you're using the Rhapsody app to stream audio, I could see where that could be helpful. Otherwise, you've got your basic settings here, sleep timer, all that kind of stuff. Network capabilities, like I said, 802.11n Wi-Fi built in, as well as an Ethernet jack in the back. I've been using the Wi-Fi only. I have a pretty fast, I mean a decently fast cable modem connection, and I don't even have an N Wi-Fi network set up right now. This is running on a 802.11g network, and I haven't had any trouble streaming video, streaming 1080p video from Voodoo, anything like that. I got to get one of those designs shaped into my head. Alright, we'll go back and take a look at some of the other apps. So there's a Flickr app. You can look at Flickr photos. I don't even know, do I have anything in my, I think I have some stuff in my photo stream here. These are all Yahoo TV widgets, and so to get into these widgets, some of them you don't have to sign into, but the Yahoo related ones like Flickr, you have to sign in with a Yahoo ID. So here's some of the photos in my Flickr stream. We don't need to go into those, but basic, you know, Flickr functionality, you can explore different people's sets, that kind of stuff, look through your contacts and your groups. So, you know, pretty neat stuff if you're into Flickr. We'll go back here. And there's not an easy way, actually. I'm sure there is. I've actually had a little bit of a problem. There we go. Hit the menu button, get us back to the widgets. Yahoo News, if you're into doing that. Rhapsody comes with a free trial, or you can stream your Rhapsody music through. There's a Facebook widget, which I'm not going to go into all the widgets here, but some of the popular ones. Facebook. The Facebook widget is actually pretty good. I don't know why you'd want to deal with Facebook and Twitter on your TV set personally. I think most of the people who'd want to use something like this on a TV are going to have a smartphone or another device around that it makes more sense on. Because when you, now that content, I don't know, it's on TV, but I don't know if that's appropriate for our audience here. So there's my wall, and if I want to enter a status update, one of the drawbacks here is that I have to use the virtual QWERTY board and click through on the remote to enter things in. So if I want to enter the quick brown fox and jumped over the lazy sheepdog, I'm going to have to do a whole lot of clicking, and I might get BlackBerry thumb by the time I'm done. So for reading, your Facebook wall or your Twitter stream or whatever, kind of handy, I guess, if you're into that whole thing. But for entering text, I don't see, the value in it personally. That's why QWERTY remotes are becoming more popular. Here's the Netflix app, and this was actually one of the main reasons that I was interested in this set. The TV guide is just kind of a viewing guide, but if you have a cable box with a viewing guide built in, that's going to be more useful for you. Yahoo Finance, there's some other Yahoo widgets. We'll talk about those a little more. The Netflix app is one of the reasons that I was most interested in this set. And the Netflix app actually works quite well. And with the update, after I installed the firmware update on the set, the newer version of the Netflix app is actually really handy because it lets you not only stream stuff from your instant queue, but you can actually search